Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My dear students, in today's lecture we are going to see qualities of secretary. See, as of now we are done with meaning and definition, features, importance, its types and functions. Today we are going to see the last topic for this chapter, that is qualities of secretary. See, apart from having certain academic qualifications, as we have seen already, to be a secretary of an organization, a person should at least have a graduation degree, right? So now, apart from holding academic qualifications, apart from being graduate, a person to be a secretary should have certain qualities. These qualities we are going to study in detail. The very first one comes as accuracy. See, accuracy means correctness. Now what is correctness? Correctness is a quality of being free from errors. Whatever work or whatever duty secretary is doing should be free from errors. Now, see, a secretary must be accurate in his works, like drafting letters, recording minutes, and maintaining records. Now, while drafting a letter, while writing a letter, a secretary should be correct in providing all the informations. Okay, there should not be any error. Secondly, while recording minutes, what are minutes? Minutes are nothing but a small summary, or I can say a note which secretary records during the meeting. So now that recording, that minutes, that small summary should be, it should be free from all the errors. And lastly, while maintaining records, all the figures or whatever information the secretary is recording should be free from errors. It should be correct. Okay, accuracy means correctness. So that means whatever work secretary is doing should be correct. Okay, accuracy is one of the quality of ideal secretary. This accuracy, the quality of being correct, is one of the perfect quality of a secretary. Coming to the second quality is adaptability. What is adaptability? Adaptability means ability to adjust. Okay, ability is nothing but a skill. Your skill, your power to adjust oneself to the changing situations, to adapt oneself to a situation. Now, whenever the situation changes in an organization, a person being a secretary should change himself or herself. Now, see, changing situations arises when there are changes in management policies or government policies. Now see, the management policies, the management plans, rules, the government plans and rules changes time to time, right? So now in this changing situations, the secretary should change himself or herself accordingly and should try to fit in this situation. This is known as adaptability, to adapt something, to adapt the new change, okay? To mold oneself in a new situation. Coming to the third quality is cooperativeness. What is cooperativeness? Cooperativeness refers to the willingness on the part of secretary. Now, coming to this one sentence, willingness. Willingness means to, get ready to do something. You are willing to do something, you are ready to do something. So now being cooperative means willing to do something for others. See, cooperativeness refers to the willingness on the part of secretary to assist others, to help others in achieving the objectives of the organization. So now secretary should come forward, secretary should show willingness, the quality of coming forward and helping others to achieve organizational goals. See, it helps in developing team spirit and a sense of togetherness. When a secretary comes and helps the subordinates, Okay, when the secretary come and supports the juniors, the co-workers in an organization, it creates a sense of togetherness which helps all of them to achieve organizational goals, trying to be cooperative, trying to be helpful to the subordinates. This is again a very important quality of a secretary which a person should possess. Coming to the fourth one is courtesy. See, courtesy indicates politeness and kindness. Now, being polite, being gentle and being kind. Now see here, the behavior which we are talking about is politeness. In politeness means, the behavior should be respectful. You should, talk to the person or whosoever is interacting or having conversation with you respectfully. Okay, and then kindness means being friendly, being helpful to others. Now see, courtesy reflect your way of respecting others and behaving with people. A secretary should be courteous while dealing with the people. This approach creates a positive impression about the employer and the organization. The way you deal, the way secretary deals with others, being kind, being polite, reflects how good you are, how good the secretary is, and how good the organization is. Now see, using words like thank you, excuse me, please, and I'm sorry, these kind of words create positive impression on the other person. Now see here, in this image you can see courtesy is showing politeness and consideration to others. It means helping others in their difficult situations. Coming to the fifth one is initiative. Most importantly, initiative means the ability to act first or on one's own. That means coming forward voluntarily by one's own self. See here, initiativeness means a person's tendency to take efforts voluntarily to accomplish a task, to complete a task. Secretary should come forward by his or her own self to complete a task. This is known as taking initiative, coming forward by one's own free will, one's own free wish. The secretary should take initiative to take decisions on behalf of the employees if they are not present. Okay, now here when the employees are not present in an organization, the secretary should take decisions, should come forward and take the decisions on their behalf. This is known as taking initiative, coming forward. Coming to the sixth quality is leadership, being a leader. Now, what are the qualities of a good leader? To guide, to motivate, to advise, to inspire their subordinates, okay, to guide their juniors, right, to motivate them, to lead them, okay, then to advise them in their difficult situation, and lastly to inspire them, to encourage them to do good every other day. Okay, helping the junior, guiding them, motivating them, advising them and encouraging them. These are the qualities of being a good leader. So now these leadership skills, these qualities of a secretary will help to create a team spirit. Okay, creating a team spirit means making everyone come together and work, being unite and for the organization to achieve organizational goals. Coming to the seventh point is loyalty. Loyalty means faithfulness. Being faithful means being trustworthy, being truthful, right? See, we have already seen A secretary is a confidential writer. When we were doing the chapter, initially we saw that secretary is a confidential officer. That means secretary is supposed to keep the important documents, the important information safely and properly, right? See, loyalty means faithfulness. Secretarial work is of confidential nature. We have already seen. So now the secretary, being a confidential officer, should not disclose matters of secrecy to anyone. That means secretary is not supposed to leak out any confidential information of an organization. In fact, secretary should give priority only to the organizational goals. That means keeping aside everything, a secretary should think to achieve the organizational goals. Secretary should give priority to the organization. Coming to the 8th point is orderliness. Now what is orderliness? See, orderliness means quality of being well arranged or organized. Everything should be well arranged and every other work should be well organized. See, orderliness means doing the work in a systematic manner. As you can see here in an image, a secretary have a multiple task. There are lots and lots of work a secretary is supposed to do. So now a secretary should have this quality of orderliness. Secretary should decide what work should be given priority over other. See, with this orderliness, secretary can complete the work in proper order and in time. When a secretary will possess a quality of being well organized, everything should be done properly and on time. This requires proper arrangement. A systematic arrangement of works should be done to accomplish, or I can say to complete the work in order and in time. Coming to the 9th one is pleasing personality. So now see, your pleasing personality. What is pleasing personality? A secretary should have a pleasing personality. It is said everywhere, pleasing personality. What is this? The way you talk to others. See, the most important points will come in pleasing personality is way of talking. How are you talking to the other employees, the subordinates, or whosoever is coming in contact? Your way of talking will show what personality you possess. Secondly, having good temper is again a part of pleasing personality. How a secretary deals in a difficult situation also defines a person's personality. Now secretary should not get angry or should be calm in handling a difficult situations. Then comes mannerism. Mannerism is how you deal with others, what respect level you have towards others. Okay, your way of behaving, your way of entertaining other persons will show your mannerism. And lastly comes confidential approach, right? Being a confidential officer, a secretary should not speak anything to the other person which is of confidential nature. So now pleasing personality is nothing but overall, I can say, to handle a situation in a calm way. Whatever befalls, whatever comes on secretary, or whatever is happening in an organization, or I can say how difficult the situation goes, secretary should handle it in a very good manner, being calm and being polite, possessing pleasing personality. Okay, having a good personality, showing it properly to the other person. Coming to the 10th point is knowledge seeker. Again, one of the most important quality of a secretary, or I can say a secretary should possess, is a secretary should be a knowledge seeker. Okay, What do you mean by this word seeker? See here, knowledge seeker. Seeker means someone who's looking for or trying to get something. Now, as in every now and then, there is always a change in, as we have seen, changing situations, we have seen the policies are changing, and day by day, everything is changing. So now the secretary should possess a quality of being a knowledge seeker. That means secretary should update his knowledge as required, as and when required. The secretary should go on updating the knowledge, trying to learn new things which will enable him to perform statutory functions. See, every now and then when the secretary will acquire new knowledge or will try to learn something new, this will help in doing the statutory functions properly. Okay, updating oneself with new things coming up and getting new knowledge. Apart from that, coming to the 11th one is punctuality. Now see, this quality, apart from being a secretary, this quality is very important for everyone, being punctual, right? See, punctuality is related to time sense. Being punctual means being on time. So now it refers to doing things at the appropriate time. Now this quality secretary should possess, that what work is to be done and when is to be done. See, lack of punctuality creates a bad impression about the organization. When the work won't be there on time, this will create a very bad impression of the organization on others. The secretary should have a good time management. The moment one says punctuality, time management comes. The moment you will manage your time properly, you will be punctual. That means you are going to complete your things on time. So now being punctual is again a very important quality secretary should possess. Coming to the 12th one is sound judgment. Now see here, a secretary should be able to judge the situations and accordingly take correct decision. Now, what do you mean by this sound judgment? See, sound judgment means proper judgment, okay, to guide to judge or to decide, I would say. See, sound judgment means to decide cleverly on a situation. Now, whatever situation arises, secretary should do a sound, or I can say a correct judgment after, looking into the situation, coming to a proper conclusion. The secretary should be able to judge the effectiveness and performance of his subordinates. Now, a secretary should have this quality, being clever and, cleverly arising to a situation and then judging the subordinates properly according to their performance. This is known as sound judgment. And lastly, tactfulness. Again, the last quality a person should possess as a secretary is tactfulness. See, tactfulness means the ability to do or say things without offending other person, without hurting other person. See, tactfulness means ability of a person to handle a situation in a right manner. Now you have to get the work done in such a manner that your words don't hurt other people, or your words or your action don't offend other person. As a secretary has to deal with different persons and situations, this quality will help secretary in acting and reacting in a wise and sensible way. The moment you will be tactful, the moment you deal with people or its situations properly, calmly and wisely, it will help them to come up with something better. Okay, see, wise people know how to speak tactfully. They know how to speak properly without offending the other person and getting the work done. With this, we come to an end with 13 qualities a secretary should possess. Now, qualities of a secretary at a glance. See, what we are done with is accuracy, adaptability, cooperativeness, courtesy, initiative, leadership, loyalty, orderliness, pleasing personality, knowledge seeker, punctuality, sound judgment, and tactfulness. These are the 13 qualities a secretary should possess. With this, we come to an end to chapter number 1, that is secretary. That's all for today. Thank you.